For the first time in a long time, Six Flags New England is getting a ground up roller coaster. That's right. The Quantum Accelerator is coming to Six Flags New England in the form of an Intamin Straddle roller coaster. We actually read about this rather recently in a supposed leak that came out about the layout of this attraction. It was going to go into the Goliath section where that ride once stood, and here we are today. All of those leaks were in fact true that Park Palace found. There's a lot to talk about with this ride. It looks very, very cool, and I'm finally happy to say that we are finally seeing Intamin Straddle Coasters come to Six Flags Parks, and I hope this is not the last time. This ride looks to be rather interesting. 45 mile per hour speed, a height of about 52 feet, 2 minutes and 14 seconds of duration, 2,600 feet of track length made by Intamin, and you have to be 48 inches tall to ride, so it may not be technically qualified as that kind of family coaster as it is a 48-inch height requirement, but hey, you could technically say that. The max speed is going to be 45 miles per hour as it is achieved on the second tire launch of the attraction. And as I said earlier, it is going to be placed in the old spot where Goliath once stood. It has a pretty cool backstory to it that involves Professor Screamore. He purchased a tiny town of Cracksaxo Canyon. He was fascinated by time travel, and basically you are riding this time machine, so to speak, which is going to be pretty cool. It's going to have this sort of steampunk feel. It's going to have some things that you're going to weave around. It looks to be a really cool attraction, and we're going to talk about the layout and why I think this is actually a really good fit for Six Flags New England.
Now get ready. Here we go.
So the Quantum Accelerator, if I'm not mistaken, is actually going to serve as Six Flags New England's first launch roller coaster. Yeah, and there's a lot of people that are rather disappointed about this edition because they felt like they should get a much more intense layout, a much more intense roller coaster to fill the void. And I actually think that this was a very smart decision. Get this area used to the idea of a launch coaster, and then that way you could build a much bigger launch coaster down the road. It's definitely obvious that they have a lot of care for this park if they were able to add a ground up roller coaster like this one. And I think this is easily going to be a massive win for the park. The fact that they just are getting a launch coaster is really, really special, and it's definitely going to fill a park need. With that being said, looking at the layout itself, it looks very compact. So I do expect that this is going to have a lot of intense moments compared to some of the other straddle coasters that we have seen before. So let's dive into this layout. When you roll out of the station, you're going to hit your first launch of 35 miles per hour. It's going to take you through a right-hand turn that rises up a little bit, kind of just gets you warmed up into the ride. It's going to have 11 airtime moments on this ride, which is pretty cool. You're going to take a left-hand turn, go over a little bit of a kind of S-bend before you continue to the left, wrapping around into your second launch. This will take you to the max speed of 45 miles per hour. You take another massive right turn as you rise up to the top, 59 feet into the air. That's the max height you go. Everything's really low to the ground on this ride. You drop down, you get a massive wave turn, and then from here it's a lot of S-bends, 11 airtime moments. As I said earlier, you take a right turn, followed by a left turn that leads you around, another fake out turn to the left from there. After this, it then takes you to the right. It follows it all the way down, small airtime bump there, continuing on towards the right. You leave a little to the left and back to the right after that, and then you turn into the brake run. Overall, it is a really compact layout. There's so much going on with this ride that's going to be really cool to see. Personally, in itself, I don't see that many flaws. Obviously, capacity could be a little bit of an issue, but they're going to be running 2 trains at least on this layout, and I think the ride's going to go by fast enough to where it's not going to feel like you're waiting an eternity. The ride looks to be really, really fun. I'm glad that there's a straddle coaster heading up north because the park desperately needed a launch coaster, and now you have a launch coaster. Let me know what you guys think of Quantum Accelerator going to Six Flags New England opening in 2025. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and always thank your ride operators. And I will see you all in the parks. Goodbye.
Here we go.
Monster.